grants. Meeting people from across the world made her wonder if she was manifesting her full potential yet, and that she would love to have a more global approach towards holistic career development. Give it a round of applause for our next panelist is Dr. Shafi Bhoyan, MBBS, MPH, MBA, PhD, as adjunct professor, distinguished visiting scholar in the Faculty of Community Services, and co-founder and program lead of the Internationally Trained Medical Doctors, ITMDs, postgraduate bridge training program, the Chang School of Continuing Education, Ryerson University. You also assistant professor, clinical public health and social behavioral health sciences, division of Dalal Lama School of Public Health, University of Toronto. Dr. Bhoyan, currently chair of the board of the directors of the Canadian Coalition of Global Health Research, CCGHR. Give it a round of applause for Dr. Bhoyan. Our next panelist is Cameron Moser, has been working for the last decade to help improve the settlement journeys of newcomers to Canada. As the Director of Services and Program Development and Access Employment, this supports the ongoing growth of employment programs that accelerate the labor market integration of highly skilled immigrants. His current professional focus is on systematically integrating technology platforms to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of programming. Cameron speaks widely on the need for evidence-based program models that can be scaled across Canada to affect broader social and economic change. Give it a round of applause for Cameron as well. And the last panelist that I want to introduce to you guys is Dr. Sharif Yorgi. So has been an active participant in provincial and national pharmacy organizations. He served as a council member of the Ontario College of Pharmacists for several years, the Foundation for Pharmacy, and the Neighborhood Pharmacy Association of Canada. In 2015, Dr. Sharif was selected as one of Canada's top immigrants, showcasing the value and contribution of international pharmacy graduates to Canadian society. In 2017, Dr. Sharif was named the Voice of Pharmacy, the Voice Pharmacy Award winner by the Ontario Pharmacists Association for his significant role in promoting the value of pharmacists in the pharmacy profession. Give it a round of applause for Dr. Sharif. So it's time to actually appreciate our panelists and for their valuable time, for being here with us. So.
So let's start with Shafi. So tell us how you came up with this idea of internationally trained medical doctors program at Ryerson. So how did you come up with this idea?
So seat or stand?
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Thank you, today's moderator, Dr. Rehman, also my friend Shiab and his wife. And I'm very glad that health professionals or medical science interested people are here. So I'm really thrilled. I want to say why this is driving me, because you saw today morning the keynote speaker and our host is talking about, and this is the time for giving back to the community. When I came to Canada, my intention was not taking something advantage of, but my privilege so I can get back to the community. That's why I joined at Ryerson as a distinguished visiting professor. Do everything what I want. That was my goal, because the title is a distinguished visiting professor. So many of you have no idea what is it. I have no idea too. And they said, you come here and have coffee and then go home, no problem. I said, that is not my interest. My interest is to help support other people. Can I develop some program? Because when I sit Ryerson in the corner office, in the class, I can see hundreds of people working is maybe around 80 or 90 countries. So everybody is walking through, and we don't have any global health things at the Ryerson, like in downtown Canada, in Toronto. So I asked the president proposed that can I have something I can address the international people to train the health system research management training. They said, you go for it. And I did research. And I saw Ryerson is helping nurses, midwives, nutritionists, all other branch, but without doctors. Then I know the problem because I'm a doctor. I know many of my friends, they are struggling, they are working very challenging job, despite of their very high qualified people, but they have no network, they have no understanding of the health system. So then I developed the IPP Bridging program, and it was just one-man show at the beginning. People don't understand what I want to do, people scared, maybe it's not possible, you're pushing people in the non-licensed job, etc., etc. But finally, I'm very glad that today this program is growing, like we are recruiting 11 cohort. Now I have trained 205 people, 186 people or 185 people are now working. Just I was talking with Suchitra that the Friday was an excellent day for me. One of my students, she got postdoc at St. Michael. This is the first ever highest position my student made, like in millions of dollars. And this ITMD was a dentist from India with the same name. She was working something in the airport security. And now she's a postdoc at St. Michael. You can see our beauty of the system. Of course, there is some loophole, but once you train, once you connect with the right person, then you can see the result. And the seed 5 years ago I started, now is getting bigger and bigger. And now, not only stop these things, because I'm a big dreamer, I want to move forward. That is my slogan. That's actually drives me to move forward. That's why we have a program, EFT, MECCH program for community health and health system management. And Ryerson we have a master degree for health administration. So those who graduate don't want to go to this job, they can go for master degree and they can get a mainstream good job. At the end of the day, my passion was to create opportunity for the people. That's why it's like. Make sense?
Thank you so much.
Maybe I will talk again.
Sure. It's amazing. I mean, out of 200 people,
Yeah.
you got 180 plus
People,
into the job
job
market.
market. It's
Which is-
85-86% of success rate, which is more than above of any DP program in this country.
Which is amazing, and that's a testament of the smart population you have in your cohort, right? So they're already hardworking, smart people, highly selected to be here, and I know they can find their way. Okay, so thanks so much, Shafi. Let's move on to Sharif. So have you heard Sharif has hold some high-level jurisdictional jobs? So I'm actually interested in your job in the College of Pharmacists of Ontario. As a physician, they always are scared of College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. They send us this newsletter every month. 3/4 of the newsletter is about how this doctor screwed up this thing and that thing and all the court proceedings. So we are very scared of the college. So Sharif told us how did you get into leadership positions in a highly
Very soft-spoken, so that's sort of make sure to check that. I think the way I got involved, it was really stemming from my passion for pharmacy, for the profession. I'm a third-generation pharmacist, so I was always looking for ways of being more involved. And one of the ways was to serve on the board or the council of the Ontario College of Pharmacists, which is the regulatory body for the profession. The way it works is that you run for election. There is an election to sit on the board that happens every 3 years. So you put your name forward. Depending on how many other people are running against you, there is an election, and if you're elected, then you serve on the board. So I found out about that, and I put my name forward. And the first time I ran, I did not get elected. not give up. I ran again the next time. I was elected and then re-elected 3 times after that. And in 2011, 2012, I was elected by the board to be the chair of the council and to be the president of the college. And I'm very proud of that, of my year as my term as president, because that's the term where we had achieved the expanded scope of practice for pharmacists. That's when pharmacists started to do more and give flu shots and think of that nature. After I finished serving on the college and on the regulatory side, I moved to the advocacy side and I joined the Ontario Pharmacists Association, both as staff. I was vice president of pharmacy there, and then after I left the staff position, I ran for the board of the Ontario Pharmacists Association, and I was subsequently elected a few years ago. And after that, I'm also serving on the board of the Canadian Pharmacy, which is the pharmacy-only charity. And earlier this year, I was selected as one of the leaders of pharmacy in Canada, becoming one of the first international pharmacy graduates to achieve that honor as well. So I think it was really all coming from, stemming from having the passion, but also having a plan, always wanting to figure out how to do more and how to be involved, and not giving up. Again, the first step is always the most difficult, and sometimes if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you should give up, and it didn't happen for me, but you have to persevere.
How did you get people to get to know you? Because you needed votes, right? How did other people get to know you?
That's a very good question. When I first ran for election, I put my name forward, and you send out an email or a letter. At that time, before email, it was more about mail letter. The next time when I ran, I decided to take a different approach, and was exactly about how to get people to know you. And so I passed by every single pharmacy in my district. And introduced myself personally to every pharmacy and pharmacist who's supposed to be voting. Got them to understand who I am and what I stand for, what I would like to do, and that's how I get people to know.
Okay, let's move on. Let's ask Suchitra. So you're in supply chain and you're at Apotex, right? I mean, we're not talking about the former CEOs of Apotex, but tell us about how was your first experience as a person running a supply chain?
So I think I'd just like to rewind a little bit from here very quickly to run us through where I come from. So I actually started my career in brand management, and I have a very old friend in this room who started with me. It's not just about where you start. It's also about where you want to be. That's the first thing I'd like to really impress upon. The second thing is that never settle. Let's never settle for anything that we feel is less than what we desire. That doesn't mean there are no compromises in life. Yes, there will be those small things that all of us here who are very experienced, more experienced perhaps than I am in this panel, will agree with. But having said that, supply chain came to me as a calling rather than a necessity. So for me, I'm still more of a marketer. So when I said that my career trajectory moved from a marketer to a buyer, that was indeed dramatic, because I never thought that I could buy. I was only selling for a living, right? So first thing was that it's okay to be uncomfortable with change, because that's when you start feeling why you want to change. What's in it for me, right? And when you see what's in it for me, you'll be able to tell someone else what's in it for them, right? So having come to Apotex, so I've had about 8 years experience in total from my home country in India, out of which about six years is supply chain, right? So having moved from India to here was, of course, all the stress related to immigration is one aspect. Once you're here, you think you've finished that much, and then now you're raring to take another flight, but then there are so many nuances you're not acquainted with, right? So I think Apotex was a great, it was a revealing truth for me. It was because it's not easy to get through everybody. So you have an existing network wherever we come from. All of us we know people from where we come, right? But here, we need a new network. So that was the first thing that came to me. A second thing was that references really don't matter here, right? Because people will find you for your skill set. They will question you on whether you are able to deliver what you claim is your skill set, right? So it's not even so. There are so many rounds of selection that you go through, right?
Negotiable accent. But, you know, that's the way the world works sometimes. So I've been here 11 years. What I'm doing right now is definitely the most interesting work I've done in the last 11 years. I immigrated as a teacher, right? Another heavily restricted, heavily regulated profession. In Canada, the rates of foreign educated teachers getting into full-time teaching jobs in Canada are about the same as the rates of foreign educated doctors getting into practice. So they're both exceptionally low. Right now, I'm focusing really on employment. I have a former person I've worked with in the past year who's doing great work right now. But the program that I'm here representing out of the programs that are in my portfolio is geared towards supporting internationally educated healthcare professionals in moving into non-regulated employment. So very similar to the bridging program that's running out of Ryerson. Created with the belief that people have a journey into their full labor market integration, right? And that if an internationally educated healthcare professional tries to start that journey with no plan except for licensure, then there's a very high risk of not very good outcomes happening. So we know that some of our clients who are taking part in our program will end up practicing medicine. We know that most of them won't. Now, what are you going to do if you're not going to practice medicine? How are you going to recognize the skills that you have? How are you going to communicate those skills to other people? How are you going to open up and unlock opportunities in the labor market for yourself so that you and your family can both succeed over the long term? All of my career, both as a high school teacher and then working in adult education, has centered around helping people express themselves. Recognizing that if you have a skill, it doesn't necessarily matter what skill you have unless you can let somebody know what that skill is. This is very difficult work to do for doctors, pharmacists, and any other very highly trained profession. Because those of you in the room who are from those professions know that you are used to that doctor in front of your name communicating everything to everybody. And you don't have to tell anybody what you can do. They see that doctor, and right away they just trust that you can do so many different things. Now, without that marker, how do you tell somebody? Right? And really, how do you even know what it is that you do? Because it's very easy to say, I'm a doctor. And then you say, well, what do you actually do? Well, I help people who are sick. If that's all you're doing as a doctor, then you're not doing all the rest of your job. Right? So we're working with 60 clients a year right now, about to
going back to your question, yes, there is a bit of a gap between how the patients are perceived once they go to a doctor. Specifically, I'm referring to the mental health, because there is a component of stigma, there is a component of mental health traditions that is being observed in their own country, but stigma is the number one. But I'm very pleased to let you know, very positive to keep it, is that 5 years ago, there was not a single Iranian-speaking, Farsi-speaking at, for example, a Canadian Mental Health Association. There was one. And now there are at least 10 Farsi-speaking. And the program is cultural competency. And they are bringing it and they are working on it. And they have programs, which is very good news. So yes, we have to, as an immigrant, I'm an old immigrant, not a new one, but it does take time to communicate. But there is another thing that I would really, for the mental profession, is they do go to those programs of cultural competency to learn how to deal with patients. Thank you.
So I'll open up to Ehsan.